Hello boys and girls, Broad now back with you. On this video I will be talking about the new Disney Plus show Wandavision, or Wandavision to, to be accurate. So the first two episodes, and they are simply called episode 1 and episode 2. So this went up today, the first two episodes. I'm guessing they're going to do it weekly, like one a week from now on, which is a good pace for me. And it's their first big show of the year in what I think we can expect to be a massive year for Disney Plus as a streaming service, because they're really rolling out some big original content of their own to go along with the the big back catalogue that they've got access to now. So yeah, following on from The Mandalorian, which has just finished its second season, I think, we now have this new Marvel series, WandaVision, and I guess quite a nice idea of theirs is that they're kind of following on a big show with another big show. But this potentially could be one of the big new shows of the year. So we're seeing kind of another crossover from film to TV, where the two leading characters, Wanda and Vision, played by Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen, they're characters from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and now they're kind of getting their own TV show, I should say. And actually, when you hear the plot, there is something quite meta about that, because the characters are trapped in a sitcom, and at first they don't realise. And that's the premise, basically. It's about them slowly realising that something isn't quite right, and little cracks start to appear along the way. The first episode literally is just the stuff going on in the sitcom, but they do this thing where they sort of blur the boundaries, because obviously they've got superpowers, and that starts coming out in the sitcom where I was unsure whether it was an accident or not, but they obviously react, and their superpowers, something will happen with their superpowers, and that will obviously lead to all sorts of hijinks and certain things. So they're kind of playing with the format of the sitcom in that sense, and I think that's partly what's clever about the show, is that they're inserting people with superpowers into a sitcom and using it as part of the humour, part of the framework of the show. Um, and the sitcom, obviously, in case you don't know anything about the setup, is it's a black and white 50s style sitcom. So think Leave It to Beaver, or maybe something like Bewitched, which came a bit later. But it's very much that canned laughter, kind of G shucks suburban. They're in a suburban setting. And as I said, the first episode is mostly them and the hijinks around the neighbourhood, and then it's the second episode where sort of more cracks start appearing and certain reveals, and it's the Wanda character, particularly the Elizabeth Olsen, her part, she starts realizing certain things, and that she's actually, I'll talk about spoilers, so I'll give you the warning now that I will go into some spoilers, although there's not really that much to spoil from the first episode. They're pretty short as well, I'll say that. The first one's 30 minutes and the next one's like 37, so you can watch these two quite easily, and they'll, kind of go by fast. So that's cool as well. I guess like a sitcom in some ways. But yeah, the Wanda character in particular starts noticing things are wrong. And I'll talk about my overall feelings, and so far it's enjoyable stuff. It's really solid. I think with a Disney show with money behind it, you would expect top class production values, which are here, and they've obviously they're going for like the prestige of like 50 sitcoms, and they sort of catered the jokes to that. But there's also a lot of meta humor, because there's lines that all have like a double meaning, where it's like winking at us, like the actual audience, rather than the sitcom audience. And it's the sort of thing where, because they're prestiging and having fun with this kind of cheesy, wholesome family type sitcom, then it actually it's sort of funny, because I was sitting there watching it and laughing quite a lot. I did it on stream actually a few minutes ago, but even though obviously it's like the sitcom's intentionally bad, and there's, the jokes aren't really that funny, I was laughing quite a lot. And it would be interesting to think why that was the case. But yeah, I think it's partly is just because of the meta stuff, and just because they got the prestige so nailed on. The casting's really good. I think they've cast it really strongly. I'm a big fan of both Olsen and Paul Bettany. I think Bettany's really overrated. He sort of has been for years, and they've got great chemistry. Obviously, they've appeared together in some films, but they really work well together. And she's very, bubbly and delightful and wholesome, but kind of grounded as well, and likable. And he. I mean, I always think of Paul Bettany as having this kind of menace to him, and that sort of comes out. But he's very good as well, very like charismatic and highly strung, and yeah, does some physical comedy really well in this. There's some really good slapstick moments, and the music's really good. The music is like spot on. It's Christoph Beck actually, who's had a really good career since scoring Buffy, and sort of funny because there's another Buffy connection in this. But yeah, the music could become really addictive. One like choice they made, which I think was the right choice, is that you literally go straight into the sitcom, the world of the sitcom, like the kind of show within a show, if you like. So there's no sort of show bit, if you like, with the characters before they get trapped, and that's definitely the right choice. And you get this nice smooth transition from color into the black and white, because you start off with that Marvel opening, the music and the logo type thing, and that's in color, and then you go into the black and white sitcom. And I think that may be partly why they put these episodes out together, because it does bookend it. Because what happens at the end of the second episode, where they start to realise things are afoot, things aren't quite right, is that it transforms back into colour at one point, when basically they realise, so it's a nice idea, and that's actually a really nice moment, a really effective moment. Because there is something effective about when you have like a film or a show or whatever it may be, and there is a transition from colour to um, to black and white, or vice versa. There is something very striking and magical about it when it does that. But as I said, really good casting. I think Olsen, particularly in a way, sells, because she's the one who, in a sense, is picking up on the signs a bit more, at least until the end of the second episode. And she does a really good job, as I think, being very curious, and Pachin kind of, when she's doing stuff in the sitcom, just starting to suspect things, and yeah. But yeah, the production values are also Catherine Hearn's. She's one of the like main supporting roles as the actress, as the neighbour Agnes, and she's very good. She's always good fun, very good at playing these sort of ripe, kind of just yeah, energetic, but kind of sort of fake, sort of wicked sort of characters. She's really delightful in this. Has some good dialogue. I mean, she has a natural like comedic timing anyway, and quite a few familiar people in this. And I should talk about Emma Caulfield from the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because I saw the other day she was cast in this, and she appears in the second episode and has yeah, it looks like she's gonna have a like she could pop up again. She's like their neighbour, Dottie, and the whole thing in the second episode is that there's like a neighbourhood like magic show which they're putting on for the kids, and Wanda and Vision have to do it basically. So there's all sorts of hilarity over that, and all sorts of yeah, sort of high antics and hijinks. And so Dottie is the one who's kind of arranging it, and is kind of playing that part of like the sort of slightly uptight, bossy, like housewife. And it's a great role for Crawford. She really embodies it, and really, if you've seen her in Buffy as Anna, I think, yeah, the casting is really good in this. She clearly is having a good time. Has blonde hair as well, which is a bit different, but a bit of a Marilyn Monroe look. Um, but again, I will say, because there are some clever meta moments, and I think one has to be the fact that there's a bunny in this. There's a rabbit, and of course, for fans of Buffy, they'll get that. And when I was watching it on stream, I obviously noticed it straight away and thought that was funny because of on not liking bunnies in Buffy. But now that I think it probably is deliberate, it probably does go to like the meta nature of the show, because of course they're being quite meta in this. So who knows? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they cast Emma Colford just so that they could do that. Now, they don't go the whole hog because they don't have her character being freaked out by the bunny, but the bunny does play a key part in the magic show, and the Catherine Hearn character like presents it to Wanda at a point where she's like noticed something, and she's noticed that basically there's like this toy helicopter in like on her hedges, and but it's in colour, so everything around it is black and white. So that's when she starts to notice something is going on, and then Agnes surprises her with the bunny, which is going to be so here's the star of the show. And that's another, I think, also meta line where it's almost winking at the audience the fact that this is a facade type world. So far really enjoyable. There are some good meta lines, as I said. Some, I think, playing with the two like universes, the two worlds. Certain things. I mean, there's in the first episode, there's quite a clever scene where they use their like magic powers by mistake, where they're trying to like she's like cooking a dinner for Vision's bosses to like impress him, and something goes wrong and she uses her powers, I think by mistake, and everything sort of goes flying, and there's a couple moments like that in the second episode, at this magic show. But there's definitely some, as I said, meta lines, because there's a line from Vision where he basically says, what we're presenting to you is like a lie, or he says we're deluding you or something, and you'll never realize, you'll never notice because you're humans. And I think that it's almost like talking about the magic show, but it could be seen as like the fact that it's a conceit as well, the whole meta universe type thing that they're trapped in the show. And you do get, actually, as things move along, this sense of suspense and mystery start coming out. So that's about it at the moment. That's all there is. There's a scene where they're trying to contact Elizabeth Olsen, Wanda, from outside of the show on the radio, sort of thing, and she starts reacting to it. And as I said, the big scene at the end where she realizes, where they both realize what's going on, and they transform into colour. It's a really good scene. So enjoying it so far. Obviously, it's hard to really get a sense to really, to judge whether this will hold up over multiple episodes and if I'm gonna still be into it. So far, it's just a fun show, which is like nicely produced and obviously good cast, enjoyable kind of gags, if you like, or I guess meta gags in a way. I think a lot of it is the prestige, but as things develop, obviously they're going to expand it and do more. But good start. I enjoyed the first two episodes, especially the second episode where they started to twig and some of the stuff at the magic show. So that's my review of the first couple of episodes of WandaVision, my overall thoughts. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Share the video if you like. It will help me get out to more views, more viewers, and potential subscribers. And also you can ding the bell on YouTube, which will notify you when there's a new video going up. And of course I'm going to stick with WandaVision. I'll be back next week about this time, I'm assuming, with episode 3 review. So look for that and look for more TV and movie reviews coming soon. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.